A devastating new policy directive has effectively blocked a primary path for Trinidadian families to reunite in the United States. The Trump administration's crackdown on family-based visas, specifically targeting categories beyond immediate relatives, is creating a generational rift. So, who is being affected the most? The hardest hit are the siblings. United States citizens from Trinidadian heritage can no longer sponsor their brothers and sisters. This severs a core family bond that has sustained the diaspora for decades, leaving families permanently separated across continents. Next are the adult children. In the world of U.S. immigration, the journey for families is often defined by hope, patience, and, at times, heartbreak. For Trinidadian American families, the process of reuniting with loved ones can be especially challenging when it comes to adult children. These are sons and daughters who, though grown, remain deeply connected to their parents and families, often living under the same roof or maintaining close ties across continents. The desire to bring them to the United States, to offer them new opportunities and a chance to build their lives alongside their parents, is a dream shared by many. The process for a United States citizen to sponsor an unmarried adult child over 21 is, on paper, a straightforward one. It begins with the filing of a petition, a stack of forms and supporting documents that tell the story of a family's bond and their hope for a future together. Parents gather birth certificates, proof of citizenship, and evidence of their relationship, carefully assembling the paperwork that will be sent to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. For many, this is a moment filled with optimism, a belief that with patience and persistence, their family will one day be reunited on American soil. But the reality is far more complicated. The process, already lengthy, has been slowed to a glacial pace with new quotas and backlogs. Each year, the number of visas available for adult children of U.S. citizens is limited by law. As more families apply, the line grows longer, and the wait times stretch on. What once might have taken a few years now often takes decades. For Trinidadian families, this means living in a state of uncertainty, with parents and children separated by thousands of miles and an ever-growing mountain of paperwork. The sense of waiting becomes a constant companion, days marked by hope, disappointment, and the relentless passage of time. For many, the wait now stretches beyond 20 years, a virtual denial for all practical purposes. Imagine a parent, now in their 50s, filing a petition for their 22-year-old son or daughter. By the time a visa becomes available, that child may be in their 40s, with a family of their own. The years lost cannot be reclaimed. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, and even funerals are experienced from afar, through phone calls and video chats, rather than in person. The emotional toll is immense, as families are forced to put their lives on hold, clinging to the hope that one day the system will move, and their loved ones will finally be allowed to join them. For Trinidadian American families, this is not just a bureaucratic delay, it is a profound disruption of family life, a test of endurance, and a reminder of the human cost of immigration policy. The dream of reunification remains alive, but for many, it is a dream deferred, waiting for a day that may never come. For many families in Trinidad and across the world, the dream of reuniting with loved ones in the United States is a powerful force that shapes their lives and decisions. For parents of United States citizens, this dream often means the hope of spending their later years surrounded by their children and grandchildren, sharing in milestones and receiving the care and support that only family can provide. However, in recent years, this path to family unity has become increasingly fraught with obstacles, particularly due to the intensifying scrutiny surrounding the so-called public charge rule. This rule, which is designed to assess whether an immigrant is likely to become dependent on government assistance, has cast a long shadow over the hopes of many elderly parents seeking to join their families in the U.S. Even when a U.S. citizen child is willing and able to provide a sworn affidavit of support, a legal promise to financially support their parent and ensure they will not become a burden on the state, this is no longer a guarantee of approval. The affidavit, once seen as a strong assurance of financial stability, is now just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Immigration officers are tasked with looking beyond the paperwork, delving into the applicant's age, health, financial resources, and even their ability to speak English or adapt to life in the United States. The process has become more rigorous, with officers scrutinizing every detail to determine whether the parent might, at any point in the future, require public assistance such as Medicaid, food stamps, or housing subsidies. This heightened scrutiny means that even the most well-prepared families can find themselves facing unexpected denials. Imagine an elderly parent who has worked hard all their life, now sitting nervously in a consular office, their fate resting on the interpretation of complex rules and the discretion of an immigration officer. The officer may ask probing questions about the parent's health, their ability to work, or their plans for medical care in the U.S. They may review medical records, bank statements, and letters of support, searching for any sign that the parent could one day need government help. Even if the parent has never relied on public benefits in their home country, and even if their child has a stable job and a home waiting for them, the mere possibility of future need can be enough to tip the scales toward denial. The consequences of these denials are deeply personal and often devastating. For many families, the rejection of a parent's visa application is not just a bureaucratic setback, it is a heartbreaking blow that can leave lasting scars. Adult children who have built lives in the United States may feel powerless and guilty, unable to care for their aging parents as they had hoped. Elderly parents, who may have sold their homes or said emotional goodbyes to friends and relatives, are left in limbo, their dreams of reunion shattered. The pain of separation is compounded by the knowledge that the decision was not based on any wrongdoing, but on a system that now views them with suspicion and doubt. For Trinidadian families, where the bonds between generations are especially strong, these rejections can feel like a profound injustice, tearing at the very fabric of family life. The emotional toll of this process is often invisible, but it is very real. Parents left behind may struggle with loneliness, depression, and a sense of abandonment, while their children in the U.S. grapple with anxiety and frustration. The simple act of caring for one's parents, a value cherished in Trinidadian culture and many others, becomes a source of stress and uncertainty. Families are forced to make difficult choices. Should the adult child return to Trinidad to care for their parents, potentially sacrificing their own career and stability? Should they try to bring their parents on temporary visas, knowing that these are not long-term solutions? Or should they continue to fight the system, hoping that one day the rules will change? In response to these challenges, many families seek the help of immigration attorneys and community organizations. Legal experts can help families gather the strongest possible evidence of financial support and self-sufficiency, and can advise on how to present a compelling case to immigration authorities. Community groups offer emotional support, share information about changing policies, and advocate for more humane immigration laws. Despite these efforts, however, the outcome is never certain. The rules surrounding public charge are complex and subject to change, and each case is decided on its own merits. For families caught in this web of uncertainty, the process can feel overwhelming and unfair. Yet, even in the face of these obstacles, families continue to hope. They gather outside embassies, clutching documents and photographs, praying for good news. They support one another through setbacks and disappointments, drawing strength from their shared experiences and their love for one another. The desire to be together, to care for one's parents, and to build a future as a family remains undiminished. For many, the journey is long and uncertain, but the bonds of family endure, offering comfort and hope in the face of adversity. In the end, the story of parents seeking to join their children in the United States is one of resilience, love, and determination. Despite the barriers imposed by public charge scrutiny and the heartbreak of separation, families find ways to stay connected, to support one another, and to keep hope alive. Their stories remind us that behind every visa application is a family longing to be together, and that the true measure of a society is how it treats its most vulnerable members, especially those who simply wish to care for their loved ones. This policy isn't just changing rules, it's deliberately fracturing the fundamental structure of the Trinidadian family unit in America. In today's fast-changing world, especially for families navigating life between Trinidad and the United States, staying up to date with the latest policies and news is more important than ever. Every day, new information emerges that can directly affect your family's opportunities, security, and future plans. Whether it's changes in immigration laws, updates on visa requirements, or new educational opportunities for your children, being informed is the first step to making empowered decisions. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table surrounded by your loved ones and knowing that you have the most accurate, timely information at your fingertips. This peace of mind is invaluable, and it all starts with making a commitment to stay informed. For many Trinidadian American families, the news can sometimes feel overwhelming or even confusing. There are so many sources, and it's hard to know which ones to trust. That's why it's crucial to find reliable, clear, and accessible updates that break down complex topics into easy-to-understand language. Whether you're watching the news on TV, scrolling through updates on your smartphone, or reading official letters that arrive in the mail, you deserve to have clarity and confidence in the information you receive. Staying informed isn't just about knowing what's happening, it's about understanding how these changes impact your daily life, your loved ones, and your future in the United States. That's why we're here. To help you cut through the noise and get straight to the facts that matter most to you and your family. By subscribing to our channel, you're taking a proactive step towards staying ahead of the curve. When you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, you ensure that you'll never miss an important update, a crucial policy breakdown, or a helpful tip that could make all the difference for your family. Our team is dedicated to bringing you the latest news, explained in a way that's relevant and easy to understand, so you can make informed choices with confidence. Picture the relief and joy on your family's faces when you're able to share good news, or when you can confidently guide them through a challenging situation because you had the right information at the right time. Staying informed isn't just about reacting to changes. It's about being prepared, feeling empowered, and building a brighter future together. So, don't wait. Join our community of informed Trinidadian American families today. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and let us help you stay one step ahead. Together, we can navigate these changes, celebrate the victories, and support each other through every challenge. Stay informed, stay empowered, and let's build a stronger future for our families, one update at a time.